Oh wow, look at this. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and a bit of a different episode today. So I manage the fleet for the company I work for, and one of our older cars has developed a fault. We don't really want to spend a lot of money on it, so we're going to see if we can delve into what the issues are. And thankfully TOPDON have sent us out a brand new scanner to test out, so we're going to do a bit of a mini review, see if we can fix this issue with this Nissan Juke. It's quite a common one. We have had this problem with the vehicle before. Basically, you're driving it along and you're getting no response from the turbo or anything like that. It's completely as if it's not there. So looking online, I've seen this reported a number of times, so hopefully it's the same fix. The TOPDON will help us find that out, and we can get this back up and running on a minimum budget. Okay, so as you can see, we've done just over 95,000 miles. We've got our engine warning light on, and if I change the mode on here, when we're driving, that torque dial doesn't go any higher than that number 1 there. So let's get this back home on the drive, get the TOPDON fired up and figure out what's going on. So this is it. This is the AD800BT2 from TOPDON. Thank you again, TOPDON, for sending this out. So we're going to do a bit of a mini review on this in this video, but we're also going to show the potential of how this sort of device can save you a lot of money. When this car went into Nissan previously for another repair, they charged us £150 just for the diagnosis. £150 just for the diagnosis.
Money, money this, money, money that. Profit will make me wallet fat.
Of what the fault was, and to clear a code, which was basically battery related. Now, that is, in my mind, extortionate for the fact that they're just plugging a cable in. I understand the garages, they've got bills to pay, everything like that, but realistically, £150 to diagnose what a fault is, whereas this, I believe at the moment, is on offer. So doing one diagnosis on this car has almost paid for the diagnostic equipment itself. Let's get moving into what's wrong with this Nissan Juke, and then we'll delve into the features of this TOPDON device in a bit more detail. So literally just unclip the Bluetooth dongle from the bottom of the diagnostic tool. That plugs into our port there, and you get an indicator to tell you it's connected. Let's switch on the ignition. As you can see from all the fingerprints, I've used this quite a lot. Actually managed to resolve an issue with a friend's RS6 the other day. So I have done the updates on this recently, but it's got some more, so it's obviously constantly getting regular updates. We can tell that our little dongle is connected because they've got the green symbol in the corner there. And I think if I pull down, I can do screen record. There we go. So I will now show you this in the bottom corner of the screen so you can see what we're doing. But let's go into diagnostics, and then you can select the vehicle that you want to diagnose, or you can go to VIN and you can do auto VIN. There we go. So we've got that one. We can confirm, choose the region, United Kingdom, and it's a 2-wheel drive. So we'll confirm that. So you've got hot functions, you can look at vehicle profile. So we're just going to do an auto scan and we'll see what comes up. So now we can look at our report, and this will generate a report that we can then save. So engine fault, we've got 2 faults on the engine. Airflow sensor circuit 1, P100. This is what I expected to see. Is one of the standard things. The mass airflow sensor can go faulty. You can take it out and you can clean it, and that sometimes helps it. And for some reason, this can cause issues with performance. So obviously it's telling the car incorrect information, or it can't tell it the information, so therefore it doesn't run properly. And then this one here, air temperature sensor circuit, probably means it's been unplugged at some point, and the engine's been started with it unplugged, because that's a historical one. So we'll save this report. Okay, so we can go back to it, and now we can go straight into that particular fault, read the error codes, and yeah, here we go. We can see that one's current and that one's historical. We're going to clear the DTCs. Okay, read DTCs, yeah, straight away comes back. So we know that that airflow sensor is faulty. So let's get the bonnet open, swap that out and see if it can clear the issue. Okay, so our mass airflow sensor is down the back here. It looks to me like whoever changed the air filter out on this last didn't put everything back together properly, because that is not housed how it should be and everything looks a little bit twisted. So we're going to take all this bit out, get the air filter out, and then we're going to refit it all correctly. So it should just be a case of lift up on this. There we go. Oh wow, look at this. Let's see if I can get you a right angle. Bear with me. Yeah. Look how filthy that is. I mean, this was serviced a year ago. I'm going to go back and check. I think it was even done by Nissan. That does not look like it's been replaced within the last year. Right, let's take the rest of this bit off. So get some clips. Yeah, look at that. Has it got a date on it? 24th of June 2019. That is, I mean, look how grim that is. Right. Change that out as well, and then I say our airflow sensor is in here within the box, so I'm gonna guess that that's a 10mm. Good guess. Apologies if you can hear a dog barking in the background. My kids are renowned for winding him up. So that gives us access to the back of the airbox, and then we've just got one screw to undo there, and we've got a little clip on the back that just holds the wire in. Take that out. There we go. And then, can't find my flathead screwdriver. Line that out a bit. And just prise it off. And there we go. That is our airflow sensor in there. Like I say, you can clean these, but bought a brand new one. I think it was £95 for a genuine replacement. So we'll get these two screws off here and one here, and then we'll swap it out. And we'll also give everything a good clean. Okay, so this is our replacement airflow sensor. I ordered all my bits from Parts in Motion. Do all my orders with them pretty much. Very good service, very quick, and the customer service I've had from them has been excellent. So if we review the old one, we can see here it's a Continental, and on the new one there again Continental. So it is OE matching. So I'll get these two torque screws out. There's one. There's two. I'll literally pull the old one out now. Just have a look at it. It does look a bit dirty around the sensor. So this is likely to have been the original. So it's just on the inside there. Holds it tight. Yeah. New one in. Just make sure that the bolt holes lined up nicely. Make sure that's nice and tight. Okay. There we go. So that can now go back in. There are two little locators on the bottom of the airbox, which go into two little rubber grommets down here. So I'll get those in first. Get the pipe back on. Route our cable back into there. Plug our sensor back in, which I should have probably done before putting this back in place, but there's enough access. I'm going to leave this nut out until I've got all the pipe work back in place. Next thing to do is I'm going to obviously bin that, but I'm going to give that a bit of a clean. So I'll cut back in a sec when that's done. Right, I've got our new Febby air filter. You can see the difference between this one. So this is got a metal shroud around it. It was actually the cheapest out of all the air filters to order from them, whereas we've got like the cheap standard one there. So hopefully this will make it breathe a bit better. And if you are doing one of these Nissan Jukes, there are two different sizes of air filter, so make sure you measure your current filter before you do your order. There we go, so that's all in there now. Let's get it in place. Right, now for this pipe that goes here, let me just move you so you can see. So that goes down into there. You've got a locator and a tab here. So get that in. Okay, and then look at that, flush. Whereas before it wouldn't fit properly at all. So now we get that screw in. And now that's tight. We'll get this one done as well. It just needs buttoning up a little bit tighter. There we go. All right, done. Let's jump back in and see if that fault code's gone. Right, so we'll go back to engine where we had our fault. We'll read the DTCs. There we go, gone. Historic. So I can now clear that one. Ignition on, engine off, yes. Continue. And we are done. So no errors, completely clear. Confirm to exit. Right, let's have a look at some of the other functions on this. So we've done the auto scan. Let's look at hot functions, what we can do. So we can do oil reset, throttle adaptation. That sounds quite cool. So ABS bleeding, DPF regeneration, injector coding, tyre pressure monitoring reset. What's this one? Some sort of immobilizer control. Seat calibration, window calibration, tyre reset, gearbox matching, EGR reset, so gear learning. So it's got tons of functions on that one. You can go into the vehicle profile. I'll tell you the details of the vehicle. Let's go exit on this. Exit the diagnostics. Yeah, see, this is something I told you earlier, or did I? I think I told you earlier. When you exit, don't forget to remove your VCI from the OBD2 port. So yeah, that's good. So if we go back to this, you can do the standard ODB and you get sort of like standard readings from like an undoctored level of information. You can go into your library and look at repair guides. Oh, I'm not on the Wi-Fi. But we can also go into Google if we need to sort of diagnose what something is. And then there was history. So in this, I've got my screen recordings which I can export. I can go into my reports. So I had a look at an Audi S5 for a friend, and he was having some issues with his airbag module. Component protecting component, I can say it in a minute. Component protection was active, so he had to contact somebody with ODIS to get that cleared. We've got the Nissan Juke. I don't think I saved any of the others. There was an Audi RS6, as I mentioned the other day, which basically had a fault with it. Engine warning light was on, and that was literally just down to an O2 sensor. So we managed to clear that. He ran it a bit low on fuel, and he thinks it might have just struggled a little bit with the crud that was in the tank. We can do maintenance. So like I said before, we can do oil reset, throttle matching. We can switch off the electronic parking brake if you're doing any of the brake pad changing, steering calibration. We can do ABS, pump. So what was that one where you're pumping, basically bleeding the system, so you can do that through there as well. Injector coding, which was very important to me because I'm likely going to put new injectors, or send the injectors off from the EOS, have them tested, so when they come back they may go into different banks, but we can just move those around. We can do airbag reset, tire pressure monitoring reset. If you've got electric seats, you can actually adjust the electric seats from the module. We can raise a suspension, lower suspension if you've got something like a Discovery. So there's tons of stuff. You can even put it into transport mode. Now this is quite a cool feature. So you could switch on transport mode and basically disables a load of features on the car. And if I remember correctly, only allows you to kind of run it very short distances on and off of transport. So maybe if you've got an expensive car and you're going away, if you have one of these diags, you could go into there, enable transport mode. So if anybody did try and steal the car while you're away, they're not going to get very far with it. What we've got, water pump, I'm guessing that's some sort of testing, odometer, and then you've got keys and immobilizers. So yeah, loads of functions on this. I really like it. It's so easy to use, and as you can see how quick it is when you're kind of zapping through. You can do your VIN scanning as well. So this is an absolute brilliant bit of kit. We're now going to take the car on a test drive and see if that's resolved the issue with our turbo. So just before we go on our test drive, there's one thing I completely forgot to mention, and that was the fact that you can actually read the live data. So if you go back into that particular function, so where we are in the engine in there, we obviously can read the DTCs, we can clear them, and we can do active tests and special functions on different things. So if we go to go into data stream and into engine management, we should actually be able to read the data from the mass airflow sensor. Now I'm not 100% sure what bit I need to monitor, but we'll figure this out together because it is quite intuitive, I'd say. So we don't need rail pressure, we don't need any of that. Monitor them. Yeah, look, there we go, we can see them now. And you can record this. So I give it a rev. There you go, turbo regulation. It was not doing anything like that before. Right, okay, let's take this on a test drive. We'll leave this recording and see how we get on. So bear in mind we wouldn't get past one little bar previously. These cars, they may be like, I mean this is a 2016, they may be old. And aside from having to spend an absolute fortune at the dealership, they actually keep going quite well, which is why we've not got rid of them, because at the end of the day, if it's not broken, or it's not broken now I should say, if it's not broken, why get rid of it? Yeah, it's definitely working now. So that's another car back on the fleet and back on the road. Alright, we'll go head back home, tidy up all the tools, have some lunch. So I think we can agree that it's an excellent bit of equipment that TOPDON has sent us out here. The fact that the dongle sits inside the device and you can just unclip it, clip it back in, and you don't have cables running around. You can actually move the device around the car while you're working on it, to me is a massive plus. So thank you again to TOPDON for sending out this fantastic bit of equipment. I say the guys there have been really helpful. And not only that, if you want to get your hands on one of these, there is a link in my description, and a 20% off discount code courtesy of TOPDON. That code is only valid until the end of August, so be sure to use it as quickly as possible. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, share it on your social medias, hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, comment down below, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.